Lindsey, what should someone do if they think they're experiencing symptoms?
The first thing that they should do is contact their doctor. So as soon as you start to experience symptoms, contact your personal physician so that they can direct you to determine what steps you need to take care of your own health. That's number one. Your own health is number one. After you've talked to your doctor, the other thing that we tell employees to do is document. Document any recent exposures that you have had to COVID-19 or incidents that you think may have contributed to the contraction of COVID-19. And what we recommend people do is actually email themselves a description of the incidents that they were involved in that may have contributed. And the reason we ask you to email yourself is so that you have time-stamped documentation of the circumstances which may have led to the contraction of the illness.
Go ahead, Ron.
If I might just kind of further respond. So once you have contacted the medical provider, advise them that you believe you may have symptoms consistent with COVID. Obviously you need to document everything, but by and large you have to follow those directions that we've all been reading about or hearing about on the news incessantly. You need to self-quarantine immediately, and that includes self-quarantining from your family, from your friends, and from your co-workers. You also need to then notify your employer that you believe that you have symptoms that may be consistent with COVID-19. Once you have contacted your doctor, documented, contacted your employer, obviously the first step is going to be following the directions of your medical providers. Now these medical providers are going to give you direction on where and how you should present yourself. So don't necessarily go straight out to the emergency rooms, because we don't want our emergency physicians exposed to individuals that may have the COVID yet are not necessarily protected, but they'll give you direction. Upon arriving or being examined by your medical provider, you need to ask for a COVID-19 test. And that's important because that's one of the criteria of essentially establishing entitlement to the benefit. Unfortunately, as we've all heard, particularly in Minnesota, there may not be enough tests available or available to you at that time. So if there's not a test that's available, you need to ask that the medical provider document the fact that there was no test available and document the symptoms that you're experiencing. That way, if we need to go back and seek to establish that you have developed COVID or COVID-related symptoms, that is well documented. Once you have been provided or advised that you have been diagnosed with COVID-19, hopefully that's not the case, but if in fact you do, you need to provide your employer with a copy of that laboratory test result or the diagnosis in writing from your medical provider, which indicates the diagnosis of the COVID-19.